Stormgate. Stormgate is out. The game is playable. It's on Steam. You can go and try it right now. And what did I say? What did I say about 7 months ago when I gave the game a whirl? I said, this game's awful, bro. This game's awful. This is dead on arrival. And I got people in the comments telling me, you can't judge your game yet. It hasn't released. You can't judge your game yet. There's loads of work to do. You should have seen how StarCraft 2 looked back in the day. You should have seen how XYZ game looked at the start of the beta, at the start of early access, at the start of create. Listen, this game is not good. It does nothing innovative. It's not a StarCraft successor. It has no real elements of StarCraft apart from the fact they're calling it a real-time strategy game. There are elements that they've tried to rob and steal. Even little callbacks get a little bit annoying, like you're moving the SCV instead of in the rear with the gear, it's like in the rear with the beer. Haha, right? Like, we get it. You worked on StarCraft. Okay. That got your foot in the door. But now let's take a look at the game. You know, it's like that TikTok meme. It's time to play the game. Like, it's time to look at the game and also talk about the shills. The shills that are pushing this shocking game, bro. That's what it is. It's a shocking game. We have Shills, Neuro, Nathanius, Beastie Cutie. We have Loco. We have these people with vested interests in the game doing well, people that have backed the game as well doing well, and we're in a harsh reality here, right? And it's time to talk about some harsh realities. The game has, let's be real, it's bombed on Steam. It's not done well, and the developers said it's okay. It's okay that it's got like 70% negative reviews. We expected it to launch to high mixed reviews. How disrespectful. How disrespectful. You've made a game, and in your own words, you expected it to be less liked and more disliked. Why are you releasing it then? If I was making a product and I'm releasing it and I think if I release this, everyone's going to hate it, it's really not that good, why would you release that? If you think I'm being harsh, and we're going to get into the absolute shill nature and the trash aspects of this game, look at the poster boy of StarCraft 2, Day 9. I believe his own mother works in the studio. And actually, respect to Day 9 for this one, because he could have said, listen, I've got a vested interest in the game. I can't rate the game properly. It would be unfair. You know, I don't want to give a poor opinion. Or he said the game was maybe a 1 or a 2. Maybe a 1 or a 2. A 1 or a 2 out of 10. That's literally, basically, congratulations, you've created a .exe file that I can install on Steam and it runs. A 1 out of 10 game. And by the way, he's not been harsh, because this game lacks all the fundamentals of what makes a strategy game exciting and fun. We've got a great tweet here. Let me just pull up my display capture, and I'm going to show you some clips of some embarrassing shill work from some of the people pushing this game. Let's take a look at this tweet. These two RTS games are 13 years apart. Would you be able to tell the difference? Honestly, would you? This was met with 34,000 views and a lot of people in the comments trying to defend it. We even had Stormgate saying, oh, you won't find bigger fans than us. We've played StarCraft 2. We're so excited. We're psyched about making StarCraft. We hope, StarCraft fans, it's always about StarCraft, StarCraft, StarCraft. We've played StarCraft. We've done StarCraft. This is so exciting. They're even pushing Sean Day 9 plot. They're retweeting him. Oh, he'll back us. No. 2 out of 10 the game. 2 out of 10. You're giving, you're giving praise to these people, and the reality is they don't even like the game. Look, let's take a look at Neuro SC2. Okay, let me just pull up my camera here. Let's swap us around. Let's get some picture-in-picture, some high-quality production value, right? And let's take a look. This was one of the videos of like shill work that I just can't frankly stand. You know, here we have somebody been given a unit showcase or whatever the hell it was, and he's showcasing the Hornet. And everyone that's playing StarCraft that has a vested interest in the game succeeding, it's like they're all saying how lovely this cup of tea is. This cup of tea is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely. Just ignoring the fact they're drinking it inside of a sewer surrounded by shit, and no one's allowed to mention the fact that they're surrounded by shit. I mean, he might be talking about the turn rate. Oh, listen to the excited voice. Listen to the audio of this game.
Of this one. In addition to the very loud fan sound.
On my way.
Whenever you...
Like, the audio in this game is absolutely horrific. The visuals in this game are horrific. And listen to the attack. Does this sound like a high quality game to you? Let's pull this up.
Until the attack?
Transiting now.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, cool. It's not cool. It's entirely fake. And it's like when you pull up Loco. You know, we have these shills that have an insane vested interest in the game beginning, and they're all just playing dumb. We have the title here. These missions are so much better. We can all agree objectively that the campaign of Stormgate is so bad it shouldn't even be in the game. That's a fact. That's not, ooh, that's critic. No, that's true. Look at the animations, the block of hair. It's like a piece of Lego hair that doesn't move. What century are we in? And the whole way through this, Loco is shilling out, saying that it's getting better, it's exciting, I really like the characters, etc., etc. And we're seeing people with just extraordinary sort of scale, design, cartoon, blocky nature. I mean, what is going on? Are you telling me this is the quality of game? Look at the hand sizes, bro. The hands, the scale, her thumbs, her fingers. It's like a 25-pound butcher's sausage. It's bigger than her head. Everything is just crazy. And then we get into the mission, and here's where it gets interesting. In one of the missions, right? In one of the missions, we have to... what you'll realise is when nothing's going on in a game, and when a game is poor, there's downtime. And that's okay if there's downtime, because if you're honest and you're critiquing the game, you can say there's downtime and it's not very fun. When you're shilling, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes a big problem, because when you're shilling for a game, all of a sudden, it's not a case of, okay, this game is a little bit poor. Shall we talk about it? We have to pretend that there's something extraordinary going on. And there is nothing extraordinary going on in this game. During this campaign, in the feature, we feature the smiling, shilling Loco. Oh, there's some units arriving. I believe I'm going to get this tank upgrade. And what you'll watch is a dragged out 20-minute mission of a few units piddling in to already set up defenses. And you'll notice here, he's moved his tank. He decides to move his Atlas and siege it up. And this basically breaks the game. And from then on, the game is trying to tell him that he needs to select the Atlas, and it won't move. And he acknowledges it for the first second, and then he realizes it won't go away. And he begins to talk about, oh, I hope I've not broken it. This is funny. I can't select it. Oh, this is broken. Oh, hopefully they change this. And then as the mission goes on and on, it's still broken. It's still flashing on his screen. And we've all got to pretend that we're drinking our cup of tea and we're not in the sewer of shit. And we've just got to pretend that it's not happening. There's nothing going on in this. He's just building his generic units with a very low difficulty, right? We've got this guy that slides forward like Lucian and spins around like Katarina. And as it goes on, literally nothing's happening. A few waves of enemies are trickling in bit by bit with very low sort of graphical fidelity, very poor overall sound quality, and there's no struggle. He could do this with his hands free. And at one point, he's ran out of things to say, but he's desperate to praise it, and he's like, wow, incredible piece of work. The siege tanks can actually shoot upwards. Is that where we've got to with the game? We're going to be so shill, we're going to be so uncritical that we're going to now praise the fact a siege tank can shoot the high ground. That's where we've got to, guys. These missions, as we flick through them, they are so poor, so just out of line. When you're thinking of StarCraft Command and Conquer, when you think of an RTS, let me go full screen, because honestly, bro, the people shilling this game, they need a reality check. They owe it to their fans to be honest and say, listen, this game's not good. This game isn't good. I certainly wouldn't back it. I certainly wouldn't pay for it. I certainly wouldn't play it. But we've got to pretend that when there's a load of downtime, that we just talk about random things like, oh, I really like the way there's a green circle around the unit. That makes it dead easy to, like, bro, we're doing totally basic campaign missions that are poor. When we talk about the multiplayer, let's go full screen. When we talk about the multiplayer, well, we have these three factions that are basically, they're basically clones, very, very poor imitations of StarCraft. Yet none of the exciting features that make an RTS game actually worthwhile playing. Day 9 also agreed with me this. 7 months ago I said the following. I said, when you play an RTS game, you want to see something. You want to see the siege tank siege up and do something unique. Wow, he's firing a big shell and it's landed and then it's exploded and it's left fire on the ground. Now you're having to split the units off the fire. Or look at this Hornet. It could be anything. It throws an enormous harpoon out of the side window of the Harrier, pins a section of units down. I could sit here and come up with more creative ideas in a millisecond than what I'm witnessing with Stormgate. Everything is like a dumbed down B-Tech version of StarCraft. I think even at some point, I think they might even be called a hatchery and a lair, one of the races. We've got this Protoss-esque race, we've got the Zerg-esque race, we've got the human race, and they're having a bit of a battle. The fights are so flat, so one-dimensional. The builds, it's not like you can suddenly go, you know what, I'm going to sneak a battle cruiser in somebody's main here, and if he doesn't catch it, I'm going to win. The build orders are kind of already set. You can't just navigate to certain tech trees at will. There's an order you've got to follow. The UI that we're looking at, don't tell me that the UI is going to improve. It looks like a bloody mobile game. It visually looks like a mobile game. Art style wise, it looks like a mobile game. But quality wise, it's actually worse than a mobile game. This game does nothing innovative. It really doesn't do anything innovative. People will tell you it's a social RTS. What does that mean? Tell me what aspect of a 1v1 ladder is social. Oh, you're doing some 3v3s? Well, let's start calling StarCraft a social RTS game, shall we? Battle Aces. People are ripping on Battle Aces. I'm telling you, Battle Aces does more innovation than Stormgate. Hands down. Battle Aces has more of a chance of surviving than Stormgate does. Stormgate is this lukewarm, awful game. I cannot get over how poor the game is. And people are beginning to wake up and smell the coffee and agree with me. And we have these shills, these people that have such a high vested interest in the game surviving that they're desperate. Oh, I'm going to be doing some casting. I've seen like Nathanias, I'm going to be doing casting. Desperate. Bro, I'm pretty sure that guy got like, I don't even know what the drama is with him. I think something happened to him that he can't cover StarCraft or something. And so he's obviously got a massive vested interest in the game surviving. And so he's obviously absolutely rimming Frost Giant for any early access, any unit reveal, any positive anything, so he can get in there and get casting. I've seen the games been casted. We're all desperately trying to make out that there's something amazing on screen. We're just seeing these bunches of clumped, ugly, slow, unathletic, boring units just mashing into each other, and some people running around collecting PvE objects with little purple, green, orange blobs. Hey, look, I got a bit of a power up. Hey, look, it's, if this is meant to compete with other RTS games, it's shamefully humiliating It's a shameful humiliation copy, I would say, of StarCraft. And you can play StarCraft for free. It's a snooze fest. There's not even all of the units out. How are you going to release an RTS game without all of the units out? Genuinely, if you think I'm being harsh or you think this is just negative Nancy, how are you going to release an RTS game without all of the units out? This is not, hey, this is the game, we've released it, and then 6 months down the line they think of a new unit. No, these are, we know what the unit is, we just simply haven't made it and put it in the game yet. You're just going to have to play without it. How are you going to balance? Think about this, man. They're doing balance changes on a game that where the units aren't even out. The new unit might change the entire way the game works. I could sit and I could bash the look of this game forever. It's a terrible visual game in 2024. The sound design is horrific. It makes the game unplayable. You can't change your hotkeys, right? There's a decent little soundtrack, but the payment model, it's pretty much barefaced whale hunting, let's be honest. It's insulting. Let's be real. It's disappointing. It's uninspired. It plainly tries to imitate the design of StarCraft and Warcraft and absolutely fail. We're trying to be sold that, hey, you're going to have a map editor. You're going to be able to design your own map that's going to incredibly change the way the game works. You're going to have a social experience. No, what you're going to do is you're going to load up your free-to-play ladder game. You're going to fight some blocks against some blocks. You're going to follow the basic tech tree. And it's not going to work. You're not going to have thousands of people sat designing maps. You're just not. I mean, if we look at the player count of this game that's meant to come out and is meant to, quote, send shockwaves down the RTS world, it is 50% disliked. There is a peak right now of today of 1,000 players. 1,000 players. There is an all-time peak 23 days ago, 4,800 players. This game is not surviving pretty much unless everything gets changed. I'm telling you. The worst aspect of this, I'll be honest, is I feel like the dev team can't handle any criticism. I think that's the worst part. It's kind of like any criticism you put forward, it's like, you're just angry, you don't understand, we're working on it. It's a completely unfinished product. It's just a completely unfinished product. What do you want me to review? I'm sitting here and I'm reviewing the game. It's early access, and it's not even an excuse. The state the game's released in, it's not an excuse. So I think it's $70 for 3 campaign levels at this moment in time. $70 for 3 campaign levels. It's a spit in the face. That's what it is. It's literally disrespecting your time and money to think that someone's going to pay $70 for that experience. I'm telling you, that campaign is barbarically bad. Barbarically bad. It's in a rough state. And even Day 9 himself is giving it a 2 out of 10. The unit pathing, not very good. The way the fights happen, not very good. The way they imitate StarCraft 2 voice lines, get your own personality. Genuinely, get your own personality. Okay, you worked on StarCraft, I get it. You like StarCraft, I get it. But this is its own game. This is clearly not a StarCraft 2 spiritual successor, or it's just not. I actually am dumbfounded by the people shilling this game, and you need to be careful, genuinely, who you watch play this game, because if people are praising this game anything more than a 2, like Day 9 said, they're genuinely, there's a vested interest. There is a vested interest in them, and I could name more and more names, but it's not good. There's only so many words you can say. There are some out there that have been honest. I think Grubby in his early days actually gave a fair shake of the game and gave it some what's the word, like fair critique. But when we're watching, I'll be honest, I've even seen kind of Pig play some casting games play some ladder games, and I'll be honest, even Pig, it's like we're not allowed to say it. We've all got to pretend that we're watching Celestial versus Celestial, exciting, non-stop cheese, here's this patch update, but we're all not talking about the elephant in the room, that the game is just actually terrible. And there's you can't sit here and say and cast games like brutal cheese in Stormgate's first big grand finals. What do you mean first big grand finals? There's 4,000 people played the game at peak. We're not in a final. This isn't an esport. This isn't a ready game. Why are we even having tournaments and casting and trying to pretend that this game is a fully fleshed out experience for the viewers to watch, for people to watch, when it's just totally incomplete? Totally incomplete. I think it's a big insulting thing when we're talking about $5,000 showdown tournaments. We're talking about, is this going to be an esport that can last 20 years? They're taking you for a ride. The people that are making these videos and talking about the game like this, they're taking you for an idiot. They think you've got no IQ. Because anyone with a bit of smarts about them, anyone with a little bit of nous about them would look at this game and go, this looks trash. Genuinely. That's not hating on the game. That's looking at the game, playing the game, experiencing the game. It's when you think of an RTS game, there's that moment, there's that big unit. Oh my god, remember like the first time you saw a Colossus with laser beams, or a battle cruiser, or you saw a massive Baneling explosion, right? You were like, whoa. Or you played Command and Conquer and you snuck your engineer in and you took over his base, you know, or your Nod laser turrets were defending, or you were playing June 2000 and you were getting your mongooses on this dirt road. It was exciting, wasn't it? And you were like, wow, I don't really care that I got annihilated in the game, because that was a really cool experience. I loved the environment. I loved the units, right? I've played RTS since I was a kid. Like I say, sat playing June 2000 on my, God, what would it be? Me Athlon PC or something. And you get excited about the unit, the structure, the design, the way the campaign works. You'd be watching Command and Conquer. The guy would come on screen with that classic, cinematic. Bit janky, but it sold you it, right? And it was exciting. Tell me, genuinely, right? If you disagree with me and you've made it this far in the video, I want you to be honest. What new exciting thing does Stormgate do that is going to propel this game to be a large, successful, not even just game, because it's not going to be a large, successful game. Let's just keep it in its own box. Is it what's going to propel Stormgate to be a large, successful RTS game? What is it? Is it the Vanguard shooting a gun? Is it the dogs running around? Is it picking up small power-ups? Is it rallying a bunch of units at a bunch of other units on the floor? Is it having like lock-on burn damage? Like that's kind of like Storm but more obnoxious. The fights, when you watch, genuinely, like watch the eyes of the people and watch the smiles. People will smile, the eyes won't move. You'll notice that. They'll tell you how exciting Stormgate is on screen. Oh, this battle's going on, it's crazy. They're dead. They're dead in the eyes, bro, because they know the game is flat. It's not exciting. It's not enjoyable. It's not a good game. It is not a StarCraft 3 multiplayer successor. It's not a Warcraft 4 campaign. It has terrible visual design, uninspired, bland, shamelessly plagiarizing other games. Honestly, terrible pathfinding. It's got terrible readability of the game, to be honest. A lot of it is just poor. Should we talk about the performance? Oh, it's early access, though. Oh, it's early access. Why does the game look this bad and run this bad? It's trying to do everything at once. It's trying to be, hey, we're releasing a campaign, hey, we're doing co-op, hey, we're doing... And what they've ended up doing is producing nothing. They'd have been far better not doing a multiplayer and producing 10 really amazing RTS missions and then saying, there's going to be a multiplayer coming soon. Or there's going to be, hey, here's the multiplayer aspect finished. We're now going to take a few years and work on a campaign because people are going to get this product. That's why it's so disliked. People are getting the product, trying the campaign, trying a bit of multiplayer and going, whoa, this is absolutely terrible. This doesn't work. Straight up doesn't work. This isn't enjoyable. There are huge bugs in the campaign. I mean, one of the, you want to talk about like shills and the way things get spun. When things get spun and you're shilling, there's certain things you could say. You could say, oh, this mission is actually a bit bland. The units are just funneling into me, not actually enjoying it. Or you can be like, oh, wow, it looks like my main objective is to focus my defense on this area where the units are coming in. You're saying the same thing, but one's very PR, one's the truth. There are 5 heroes available. Only 2 come with the purchase of the game. The rest are $10 each. I assume there's going to be more coming out, right? You can't play skirmish mode offline, right? You can now finally play it with AI, right? People are not getting the feeling of an exciting RTS game. That's the truth. You can bash it. You can bash me if you want, but that's the reality. It's a lazy imitation, devoid of any innovative features, if you want to call it that. It's not good. It's not good. And I think the way the studio is handling the Reddit section, where they're just like banning and limiting people for giving fair critique, the way the studio have kind of just bowled up and it's like they won't admit the reality of what's happening. They're calling it a free-to-play RTS game with 3-player co-op, high multiplayer 1v1, campaign in development, play free today. I think it's a travesty that they're asking you to buy this game. I really do. The fact that this game has a pack that is available for £51, £51, and even if you bought it, the multiplayer would still have units missing. £51 they want you to pay for this game if you were to buy the ultimate tier. 3 missions, a pet chicken, 3 heroes, 1 unannounced hero that you don't even know if you'll like, the ability to change the fog of war, and some paint for your colour of your guys. I mean, the disrespect those guys are showing you, I'll be real, it's not good. It runs terrible as well. Definitely would not be incentivizing this, let alone the broken Kickstarter promise, the heavy monetization. I can see this game very quickly becoming end of life, end of service. I would be, you can have people saying, oh, we're doing this tournament. You can watch this guy host this tournament. There'll be tournaments because there are enough shills desperate to make a bit of money. But this is not a good game. This is not a good game. And I have absolutely no time for it. Day9 gave it a 2 out of 10. I'll give it a 1 out of 10 because it's an executable file that you can open and give it a go. But this game, honestly, it's a failure. It's a failure of what they wanted to do. And I don't think you should give it any more of your time until large changes are made, because in an RTS game, there has to be an exciting, impactful moment, be it through the map, be it through a unit reveal, as in, wow, I've just seen this battlecruiser that snuck into my base and destroyed everything. That looked awesome. Be it an amazing, detailed campaign. There's got to be something that grabs you and goes, I really like that. Now I want to play the multiplayer. You watch the campaign, you watch the cinematics of RTS games, then you think to yourself, ooh, I really like that. I want to play as that race in the multiplayer. And then you begin to sink time into it. Then you begin to get invested in it. Then you begin to enjoy it. Nobody is playing the Stormgate campaign and thinking that was so fun, I'm going to play as a Vanguard and I just identify with the Vanguard race and I'm going to dedicate my whole life to Stormgate. It's really, really terrible, and I can't get over the audio. Whoever's designing the audio and working on the audio, just, it's crazy. Think about this, to end on this, the campaign, think about this, right? If you've made it to 30 minutes in, leave a comment, leave a like. This is designed to be the casual RTS game that bridges the gap from like, wow, StarCraft is too difficult, to, hey, I can play RTS games and now I'm really enjoying it. So this is designed basically the casual RTS player to get their foot in the door and then get going. There's no pause feature in the campaign, and there's no save feature. It's lucky that the missions are not very long and are not very difficult, because, yeah, you have to do them in one take and you can't pause. So when you're trying to get a casual into the game, you've got a dad, you've got a young kid, you've got someone playing the game, and then there's a parcel at the door, or the baby's crying, or you need to whatever, go change the baby or whatever, right? You pause. You can't do that. They've put 90% of their effort into this ranked 1v1, but the whole time they've been telling us that this game is the social RTS game that's going to break the norms and is going to suddenly make RTS games from a hardcore game into a super social, popular multiplayer game. Yet they've put all of their time and effort into 1v1 ranked, and they still haven't even got all the units in 1v1 ranked. That's the reality. I'm not trying to come off as overly emotional about the game, because frankly I don't care about the game. I've played it. I think it's terrible. That's my opinion. But the people that are still paying for this game and backing this game, it's in a rough state. Really rough state, and it's not worth your time at the moment. It's totally not worth your time.